Howdy, Fixers. So today we're going to be going after the valves on this Honda Civic head that we took off. Um, so I already took it to the machine shop. They checked it for cracks because it had a blown head gasket, and it pressure checked it, and they resurfaced it. It was warped within a thousandths or something like that. But what we're going to do today is we're going to use Prussian blue, and we're going to use some valve grinding compound and just a hand lapper that you can get from AutoZone. I got mine from AutoZone for like $6, and the valve grinding compound. So the whole thing is about $20 with a product that you have to buy in order to get this job done. So I'm just using the hand lapper, putting valve ground compound around the edge of the new valve or the resurface valve. These are all resurface valves that have been cut by the machine shop, and I'm just going to lap them into place so that I have any impurities in the seat that's going to be matched up with the valve. That's all I'm doing so that the valve seats into the hole, because if you have a valve that doesn't seat correctly, you can have blow by, or you're going to have a misfire at certain RPMs and stuff like that. So you just want to make sure that you spend your time and make sure that you have a good grind surface on your valve. And you'll be able to see it. I'll show you here in the video that there's a white spot on the valve and make everything looks good. Alright, so here I've pulled the volt valve back out. I'm going to clean all this stuff out of here. You can kind of see the riding surface is a lot more less shiny than it was before. Um, and it's going to look like it's going to be mated up on their new valve. So I'm going to pull my valve out here, and you can see there's this gray spot in between the two shinies, and that's what you're looking for. You want it to look like it's right there in the middle. Too far on one edge, it's not going to seat well. Too far the other way, it's not going to seat. It's going to be right there in the middle, and you want a good surface for it to mate on. Um, so that's basically all you're doing, is you're just making a good mating surface that's right there in the middle. So I'm going to mark each valve to which cylinder it came out of. So this is 1. So I'm going to mark 1, and then the next one's going to be 2, 3, 4 for each cylinder, so I don't mix them up, and I'm going to have them lined out on a piece of cardboard so I know which one goes to which. So I'm going to move on to my next valve and see what happens. All right, so now we have the next valve, and we're doing the same process that I just did in the last one because they're both the same. So we're making sure that the surface inside where it's grinding on looks good, that it's in the middle, that my valve is seating well. You can see here on my valve, it's looks like it's great on the valve surface. When you're using the compound stuff, sometimes you get some grit stuck inside the valve stem seal area or valve stem seat. So you have to clean it out with carb spray and get all that stuff out. Because if you leave it in there, it eats away at the valve and makes, it's a mess. Um, so I've gotten this to what I think I like it. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more. So this is the Prussian blue stuff, and you work your valve up and down, and you can look inside and see where it's mating up on the head surface or the valve seat surface, so you know if it's going to leak air or not. And I had to do this a couple times till I was satisfied with what I had for a mating surface. And I put miles on this car afterwards, and I haven't had a single issue with it yet. So it works. I've done it to lots of cars, and it works great. Um, Not so much if you have hardened seats or it's like a Chrysler product or something like that. You may want to have the machine shop do it for you because there's certain vehicles that have problems with valve seat dropping out, and that's a nightmare. You don't want it yourself. So yeah, so now I'm just pushing this back and forth, up and down, to make sure it just like a valve would act inside the cylinder, and seeing where it mates. And there's a couple spots that I didn't show in the camera here, but it didn't look like it was mating too well, so I think I went back in, I tried it again, and then I'm going to try to work it in. I think I even end up using that power drill to make the valve go in a little bit and do it a lot quicker. So here I never applied the Prussian blue to the first valve I did, so here I'm checking that and making sure everything works like it's supposed to. And you could tell when I was trying to get the valve in there, it had some grit in there, so I have to end up blowing it out with some carb spray to get it all out, make it better. Um, but here I am again checking my seating surface, make sure everything looks good. You can see the blue's not contacting all the way around, so that means that it's not working correctly. So I got to add some a little bit more compound again, try it again, see if the seating serves again. But I grind this more and then I'm satisfied with it. So it's a process. It takes time. It saves a little bit of money. Is it worth the 60 or $100 that they do it at the machine shop? Probably not. It's probably cheaper just for them to do it for you than you take your time and do this.
So this is one of my exhaust valves. These are my intake valves. I've labeled them all 1 through 16. And 9 through 16 are exhaust, 1 through 8 are intake. And so I've gone ahead and I've lapped them in there and checked them. So you can look here, what you're looking for is a surface. You see how it's like marred up? On the brand new valve, it's all shiny. So down here, each one of the valves is made to each one, so it all looks good. So once we're all said and done, you got a whole bunch of this valve grinding compound that gets inside the valve stem. So you got to clean that out or it's going to wear on your valve and give you issues. So I've got some carb spray and some brake clean carb spray. And we're going to spray all this off and hopefully get this clean, and I'll start going the other way and assembling the head and putting the valves in and stuff. Side note, these valve springs, the exhaust springs are just a little bit longer than the intake springs. If you didn't know that, you know that now, because that's a big no-no if you didn't make any note of that. So these keepers here for the top of the valve spring, which are the smaller hole, which your keepers get stuck into. The bigger ones here are for the bottom. They go around the valve stem right there. You can see you need something that's a little bit bigger. Alright, fixers, so I've cleaned all this off. Most of the Prussian blue and all that stuff's gone. I got my seats where they look good. So then I've marked, this is where I started. So I flipped it over and I started on this side for my exhaust because it was easier to get to the valves, put my hand on and stuff. And this is where I started for the intake, where my eye is. So number 1 valve goes in this hole here. And we're going to shove it in there. It still acts like there's some stuff in there, so we're going to have to clean that out a little bit. cleaned out. That cleaned out. Yeah, that's perfect. So now we're gonna grab one of our keepers, which
So
is
in
this one here.
spot here, I want to
This
reiterate
is the
that
bottom keeper.
I did not do this the correct way the first time. I had to do it a couple times. So just make sure that you do it step by step, the way it came off, the way they go on, the bottom keeper goes on, and then your valve stem seal. Because if you do your valve stem seal and then try to put your keeper on the bottom, it's not going to work.
Alright, so we got all our valve stem seals in, the whole head. So I've invested in probably the most expensive part of this whole thing is bearing grease. And I got everything I need in order. So we're putting in the intake valves. So we're going to put an intake valve, which is the shorter one. Double check, verify the other one. So this is the correct one, and that's it. So you just put it back together. No. So now that we have this off, I'm gonna use my brand new tool I just bought from Amazon for 30 bucks. Had somebody use it and see what they thought. I didn't like it, so I'm gonna see how easy it is for me to use with this. So I'm gonna grab the adapter here, see if this is the right one. Yeah, that should work great for that. So then I'm gonna, this is my new tool. So you can see it's like $29 on Amazon. So we're just gonna see, so this unscrews here, and then you adjust to how big your head is with the screwing of each side. So I'm gonna unscrew this little feller. Put it on the back here. Okay, and then we're gonna put our actual one we're gonna use, put it on this side. So the process of this, I'm hoping I don't lose the freaking keeper. Ideal. All that stuff happens. So try to move all this stuff out of the way so nothing bad happens. We got keepers. So I'm gonna line up mine. So you're gonna want some like toothpick kind of things like this to put grease on this end or whatever end you want, and you put the keeper on the grease, and then you feed it in to the keeper, which is this thing, and then you release the pressure. The valve's done. So we're gonna jack it up like this with the valves right there. You can see the valves just right there on this side. And now we're gonna get my tool, which is right here, and we're gonna line it up to what we think it should be. So it's there. Okay, so I need to adjust it out a little bit so I can crimp it all the way down and hold it into place. So I'm screwing out my thing here. Try to go a little bit. Ah, perfect. So this way, I can move it up and down and wash it back and forth like that so I can get my keepers into place. So, get my keepers. Okay. So we have our keepers, which are here. So what we're just going to do is we're going to dip our little toothpick here into the grease, get some like that, and then we're going to go on the back side. Oop. So you got grease. So what you want to do is, you know, they're chamfered to the way they're supposed to go, so it goes in like that. So we're gonna get you in there. So that's in locked position there. Get a little bit more grease. And then here, so then we're gonna get this one to another chamfered spot, and then you just release the tool. So easier said than done, because you know once you, this is usually the part where you lose a keeper, because then it doesn't quite catch, and then it shoots out under spring tension, just like this one's doing. So we're gonna put grease on the other side too. So we're gonna put grease there, and we're gonna put grease on the other side. Okay, so get you in there. Grease on both sides. Oh, popped out again. Come on. Yeah, we're gonna. Yes, I think we're gonna work on getting this. I think that one's in place. More grease. So this is the most time-consuming part of it. Is this? The valve lapping is not so bad. This is the longest part. Because you gotta be meticulous about it. You don't want to lose a keeper. Because you lose a keeper, you gotta order one offline or go to the dealership. And this is old enough where they probably don't have any in stock. Hurry up and release it a little bit. There it is. I did it. So it's in there. So what I like to do once you get a valve done is you take a soft mallet and just tap it a little bit. So you know the work of the camshaft and the lifters and all that stuff. This is not going to come loose. So it's just kind of reassurance. You hit it to make sure it's not going to pop out on you. If you put something here and you hit down, this whole thing's going to come out on you and probably shoot your keepers everywhere. But if you use flat tension, it's not a problem. So that's one down. Then I got to do another one. So then we're going to go this one down in the hole here. It's there. We get another keeper. Right, fixers. So this is definitely a thing you don't want to do. See this side, this is how I did it the wrong way, and I was able to pull these back off and throw them back on there after I got these in there. So like I said, I'm here to make the mistakes so you don't have to. But looking at this stuff here, that's what you have to do. So it's just, that's the easiest way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to put my other valve in now. So I got keepers. Intake valve, the short ones. Okay. So do this, put that in there. We're gonna get this keeper in there. Then we're gonna get my tool. clamp it here, swing it out, line up our valve, then okay. Now I squeeze her down. Now we're lined up. So you just don't want to move it too much. So I'm kind of out of the way so you guys can see. Okay, so grab my little stick of fun here, get some bearing grease, a keeper inside and out. So we're gonna go put this one on the top because that seemed like that worked a little better. Move that off to the side a little bit, push it down. So that's lined up. So now we're going to take this other one, grease on the inside and out. Okay. You line that up. Ooh. So now we're going to release it. Oh. Okay. Now we're going to release it. And there it is. So we're 2 for 2, and I think everything looks good that way with it. Nothing's sticking out. So like I said, again, you can watch up here. I tap. There's a valve open. So at least you know everything is working like it's supposed to. So now on to the third valve. So I'm gonna shut you guys off, kind of do all the intakes, and then go to the exhaust. So I got 6, so I got 10 more to go. So I got 2 more for the intake side, and then I got another 8 for the exhaust side. But it's once you get it down, it's pretty easy. This tool is not bad for the money. When I ordered it, they only had 3 left in stock, so it's a little different than what I'm used to, but it works. It definitely works better than the $20 one they had on Amazon, where you screw it down by hand, and then you have to unscrew it by hand. This was just pressure. The pressure helps because you can kind of help line it up. So we're gonna go with valve number 7 that's been lapped in. Okay. Keeper, and I got my keepers. So I'm gonna get my keepers. Oh, I don't want that many out at a time. That's how you lose them. So you just always want to keep 2 at a time, because if you keep a whole bunch, it's really easy for them just to disappear on you. So grease on my thing, grease on my keepers, and grease in. Get my tool, And then we get to the last keeper. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh. Almost lost one. So I don't think I explained to you, but these keepers have a groove. If you don't know, I think see that groove? That groove goes into your top of your valve, and that's what keeps it from popping out. So if you didn't know that, I'm sorry I didn't go over that, but now you know. So, whoop. No, 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 no. Okay. Downside to this tool, it doesn't have like a cup that goes over the spring. So when you get enough grease on there from doing this, it slides over crazy. So make sure you don't mar your cylinder head. So I'm gonna wipe this off. A little better mating surface there. So, a little grease. I almost had that one. Okay, and then another one. Okay, so let's see. I did it. Okay. Same process I did with all the other ones. So everything works. Okay, the last one here. Down here. Dirty. Still got a little bit of valve ground point on it. There. Got that. More creeper. Keeper. The exhaust side might be a pickle, but this one's going pretty simple so far. Alright, so I'm going to get me some grease, get it ready for the next step. Get it ready. So oh, almost forgot my keeper. Yeah, because it doesn't like staying in there unless you have pressure against it. So once I get pressure there, oh, you dirty dog, bastard. Definitely does not like the grease, so might have to think a different way to do this, or
Alright,
wipe
Fixer,
it
so
off
this
every
is
time.
the end of this
A little bit
part.
inconvenient to wipe it off every time,
part,
but you know.
second part of a 3-part video.
$30 tool.
So hopefully this was
Don't
helpful.
expect
If
too much,
you like
guess.
this style of video, please let me know. I'm trying to do more stuff like this. So if you liked it, give me a like. If you want to find more, give me a subscribe. And like I said, hopefully this is helpful as far as information wise. It's not a step-by-step process by any means, so always be sure that you look to a professional for any help that you may need, and that's the smartest way to go about anything. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it, and have a good one.
Fix are good. Be a fixer. Be your own.